Hello friends, welcome to Winkeyes. Today I'm going to talk about the VPC and what I'm going to demonstrate today is how to create an VPC, how to create public and private subnets and how to connect those subnets to internet. So initially what I do is I'll create one VPC which is with a IP port like 10.0.0.16, and when you create this VPC, by default AWS provides one route table along with one ACL default one. So and later on we have to configure a custom route table for connecting into the internet. And yeah, one more thing is we'll be talking about NAT gateway also, where using NAT gateway, the private subnet can able to talk to the internet. So as per the diagram, I'll be going to create two subnets, which is 10.0.1.0 and 10.0.2.0. Two subnets I'll be creating, and each subnets will be having one EC2 instance, and I'll be loading Apache server so that we'll be able to connect and see whether that EC2 is working with the ports. Okay. And coming to the ACL is mainly meant for what are the IP which it can able to contact with subnets. We can have a fine tuning for the IP address, like say suppose by default it will give allow all, but you can have a custom custom ACL also, where we can deny few particular IPs from the sources. So this kind of option we may not get in the security group. Security group, when you provide, say suppose if you want to provide 80 port, so when you opt 80 port for security group, it will allow for 80 port for any resource, or you can specify the resource, but there is no denial. Say suppose you have a request coming from port 8083 from particular IP, then you should deny that particular thing. Those kind of fine what you call controlling is not available in security group, which is available in the ACL. So today I'm not going to talk about the ACL. I mainly talk about how to connect to the internet for the private and public subnets. So as I said, I create two subnets. I'll make this subnet 1 to as a public subnet. If you join this particular subnet with internet gateway, so internet gateway, if you provide them, then this public subnet will be, this subnet will become public subnet. And if you want to connect to the internet for this private subnet, you may ask why we require a private subnet to be connected to internet. I'll give an example, like assume you have a EC2 instance, and if you want to install some of the softwares like Java or any database you want to install into your system, unless you have a internet connection with you, you cannot able to download those updates and get it installed into your system. For that private subnet you have to use NAT gateway, which will internally connect to the route default route, and internally again it will connect to the internet gateway and get into the internet. This way we can do. Okay, to demonstrate all these things, let's get into the practical demo. Okay, now let's start creating a new VPN. I'll go to VPN section. Okay. it has its own default VPN. Whenever account somebody has created, a default VPN will be given to him by AWS. So if you want to customize your own VPN, you have to create your own VPN. So create a VPN. I'll give the name my VPN. Here we have to give the CIDR block, and we have to specify the IP address 10.0.0.0/16. Rest of the things I'll keep it like that. Now a new VPN is created. Okay, so as soon as VPN is created, we'll be having NAT gateway already given to us. It may take time to load. Okay, it will be not, but I think when we create a subnet it will come. Okay, let's create two subnets, one for private and one for public. Create subnet. I'll keep subnet 1 for public, and I'll give it to my VPN. So I'll prefer APAC zone 1A for this. So we have to specify the private VPN IP address is 10.0.1.0/24. Create. Same way I'll create one more subnet, subnet 2, same my VPN. I'll give the second zone. Here I can give 10.0.02.0/24. So two subnets have been created now. Both are in private mode now. We cannot able to access them. Okay, so now we have to provide the route table. So we by default one route table will be given for the as soon as we create a VPN, but to specify for which subnet what route we have to specify, we have to create our own new one. So create route, I say my route for subnet 1. So I'll give them VPN which I want to connect to. Created. And to connect to the so to make this route associated to one particular subnet we need to make. So I'll do a association because we created a route but we don't know for which subnet we need to edit for. So I'll associate this one to subnet 1. Yes, it has been associated. And what I do is I need to make public, right? So we need to add a internet gateway. So first create a internet gateway. Yes, my internet gateway. Create. Okay, so it will be in the detached mode when you create a new one. So we need to attach to a VPN. So I'm attaching to the newly created VPN. Okay, Now we have to go to route table again, take the subnet 1 route, and we have to specify that internet any port or any source can able to access this particular subnet. So we have to specify any port, any IP can able to access this, so by through internet gateway. Say save. Okay, now it is active. So this subnet 1 now is having a public access, and before that we have to specify initially it will be not having a IP address for that one, so we need to allocate a IP address for that one. So if you see the subnets here, subnet 1 and 2, if you see here public IPs, so it is having no. So public subnet 1 we have to specify it should have a public IP. So what I'll do is I'll select and go to action, make it modify auto assign IP settings. I'll go and give the auto assign IP 4. Save. Okay. So now what I'll do is, so since subnet are ready, I'll create a EC2 instance. Okay. Let's go to the EC2 section. I'll pause for a while once it is loaded. Okay, now I'll create a new instance. Launch instance. I'll take Amazon Linux 2 AM 2, and since I'm in trial mode, so I'll get T2 macro, and here I specify my VPN, and it's for subnet 1, since I said subnet 1 is a public one, and I'll give the commands where it will start the Apache server as soon as the instance gets loaded. I have the scripts with me, so I'll take the scripts. Oops. Okay, then add storage. That's 18 GB. That is also fine. Yes, for security group, I want to enable few things. Before that, I'll create a security group for the rest of the things also. So I'll make it my security group. So add a rule like it should connect to HTTP port 80 and from anyone, anywhere. And I think for pinging also we can use ICMP. Yeah, this is for if you want to ping certain certain IP address, it should respond. For that, we are opening the ports. I'll give it again for everybody. Default, review, and launch. So I'll give the key as test key, which I have already present with me. For getting into the instance, this key is important. Okay, let's view the instance. It takes a little bit of time to load. I'll pause it and I'll resume once it is up. Okay, I think now it has been resumed. So I can see our instance is ready. So here, since we have provided auto IP, public IP, so it has provided a public IP for us. There is no DNS name, just a IP. So if I take this IP and check it, yes. So we can see this instance is up and running. So this particular subnet is working. So what I'll do is I'll create one more instance which is for the subnet 2, and it doesn't have any internet connection for that one. I'll copy the same scripts. Meanwhile, okay, T2. I'll go for VPN, my VPN for subnet 2. And yep, so I'll put the same scripts. So I'll say this is instance 2, just to differentiate. And again, I'll go for storage 8 GB, it is enough for us. And tag, I will not add any tag for that. Oops. Okay, security groups, which previously I created, SG, which has TCP IP and 80 port, and ICMP, we have it, review and launch. So I'll keep the same keys, test key. So I'll pause for a while. Once the system is ready, I'll let you know. Okay, so now that system which we have created for subnet 2 is up and running. So I would like to show, so this is the IP, private IP, which we created, 10.0.2.156 it has created for us, and it doesn't have any public IP. So we cannot able to access this anyway. Okay. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll make sure, like, I'll get into this private subnet using the public subnet. I make use of public subnet as my jump server, and I'll get into this particular server. So for that, I need to go to putty. I'll give EC2 user at. So we need to know the public IP of that instance, this one. I'll make sure I'll make a note of that one before doing. So this is public IP, and another one is private IP. Okay, so that it is easy for me to copy paste. So I'll go for the public IP one. which I could able to access easily because it's a public IP. I say SSH auth key. I have already generated the key, put the key and open. Yes. So here we can see we have logged into that server. Now what I do is first thing is I'll ping the subnet 2 instance which I have. I'll take this private IP. Yes, I could able to ping that particular server. Clear. So now we need to log into that particular server. SSH and EC2 user and before that we need to have the key with us in that particular instance. Now what I do is I do nano test key. I'll create a key file there so that I can easily access from here, access through SSH. Okay, now I'll go to my key and right click on that, open in the notepad. I'll copy paste the entire key. Okay, then save and save this file. Control X, Control. You want to save? Yes. Same file. Okay, it is giving some option. Let me minimize this if I can able to. Yes, it says file name to write as. Yes, I say same file name. I'll keep it. Okay, now what I do is I need to make it as change the mode of that file, chmod 0600 test key dot pam. Okay, now we will do SSH and get into the private subnet instance, that is SSH EC2 user at. I'll copy the private key and it is -i test key dot pam. Yes, you can see here this IP is private key IP. Now what I do is I'll do ping google.com. So here we can see we cannot able to connect to the internet because it's totally in closed or isolated section. So to provide this internet, we need to provide the NAT gateway. Okay. Now we'll go to the VPC and we'll go to the section NAT gateway. Let's create a new NAT gateway. Now we'll give the name for the NAT gateway, my NAT, and we have to provide the subnet. So it should be for the private public one. I'll give and I'll allocate a elastic for that one, elastic IP. Create a gateway. It will take a little bit of time. Still it is pending. Meanwhile, what we'll do is we'll go to the route table, and what we have the default one when we create an VPN. For that we have to update. We have to say it's for 0.0.0, and now I'm providing for NAT gateway. Save. Close the thing. Now I'll open the putty again. If the session is available, no. I'll restart the same session. Okay, now I'm in subnet 1 instance. Let me do again SSH EC2 user at, I'll copy the private IP -i test key.pem. Yes. Now what I'll do is I'll do the same thing, ping google.com. Yes, now we can able to see, we can able to ping the google.com. So it means like internet is available for this private subnet. CLS, sorry, click. Now I'll install Java. For that I have a command which is sudo yum install Java. So you can see from internet it will download the image and install into our instance. Hope I think I got whatever I want to achieve today. Hope this video is helpful for you and you get to know what I want to explain. If you like this video, press on the like button and subscribe to my channel for the further updates. Thank you very much.